in the punt return game than kick returns so far this season. But you know that he'll have a say in this game as Montreal's coverage unit, the very best in the CFL this year on kickoff return average of opponents. It is David Cote sending it away, and it'll be Leak returning it from his own 20-yard line across the 30, and is hit right there by Bryce Notree, who gets the start as well today defensively for the Alouettes. Here is the Chad Kelly.
Yeah, you know, certainly with 2,600 yards this year, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. What I love the team does here, Toronto does a great job with their run game, trying to make sure that the game isn't all about Chad. You know what I mean, Marshall? It's about running the football. Can they run the ball? Can they run the ball? And then Chad takes those shots. He does a great job using his legs to create first downs when he needs to. And certainly I know he wanted to have a response after talking to him this week.
Highest completion percentage in the Canadian Football League is these Toronto Argonauts at 68.1%. They'll begin with a throw as Kelly fades to his right, looks inside out, high and away, incomplete. Let's take a look at the starting offense of the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, Ryan Hunter is somebody I really want to look. First round pick, 9th overall. Had to wait for him, but watching him on film, he's an outstanding football player. And I really wanted to talk about David Unger. 4th-year player from Idaho. Last time in this game, he had 2 TDs in the last game against Montreal. He was an impressive player on tape last time they played.
Completing 93% of their passes when targeting Unger so far. 15 targets, 14 catches. Drop snap this time. Kelly, pressure, gets it away and just chucks it into the turf. And immediately that time, the early pressure comes from Tyrese Beverett, who you were interested in, Lapo, making the switch over to that Sam linebacker spot.
Yeah, Tyrese, what they're trying to do here is they're trying to bring some pressure off the, you'll see off the weak side, you'll see a couple extra players coming off this weak side, and that's what you call 4 players coming to the weak side of the protection, and you can't handle that. It's got to be handled by the quarterback. He has to throw the ball away or find a hot receiver, which is a receiver who's not downfield, is a short route.
Boris Beatty handling the punting responsibilities with Haggerty out of the lineup once again. It was a situation that arose a couple weeks ago in warm-ups. Beatty's done a really good job handling these responsibilities. And they'll send it down to open things up to the former Toronto Argonaut. That is Chandler Worthy returning the punt. There is a flag out back in the backfield. So Mickey Donovan, special teams coordinator, pointing back at it after a 10-yard return here for Montreal.
And you talk about Mickey Donovan, the Argos special teams is the least penalized unit in the CFL.
Holding number 98, Montreal. It's a 10-yard penalty. It's going to be first down.
Back him up a little bit.
Yeah, tough one for Brock Gowanlock there onto the roster for the Alouettes, the former Manitoba Bison. But yeah, having Mickey Donovan as the special teams coordinator, certainly he's been able to breathe some life alongside Javon Leak in the return game on punts.
Yeah, and the players talk about Javon Leak, that they just love playing for him. He's a humble kid. He works hard every day, and his ability to really do good things in return games help them. I'm looking for Cody to make great decisions with the football. He talked a lot about that in our meetings. He's moving the ball. He just wants to protect the football better than he has the last couple of weeks.
Completing 65% of his passes on the year, 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Like to get that to even or better by the end of today. But to begin, it's a run play, and it is stacked up. There's the former first overall pick wearing number 1, Jordan Williams, as we get a look at the Alouettes starting O. Yeah,
Jamar McGloster drops back in at the right tackle spot after Landon Rice back on the 6th change. This is his 3rd start. You can't talk about anybody else. Austin Mack leads the CFL in receiving yards, receptions, 30-plus yards, yak yards. This kid's a star in our league. I really love watching him and everything he does.
Tyler Snead having a nice year as well for the Alouettes. Season high 9 targets last week. We'll see where Cody goes here on 2nd and long. Checks it down over the middle. It is complete. And nowhere to go again. Jordan Williams 2 for 2 on the first 2 snaps of the ball game. That goes to Cole Speaker, but it will be a 2 and out for the Alouettes offense. They have the lowest percentage of doing that in the entire CFL. Just 31% of the time they're heading off the field after 2 snaps offensively.
Yeah, when you get backed up on the first play, you're 2nd and 12. Toronto's a zone primarily team. They're going to drop back into a nice, easy zone and force you to drop back underneath and throw those balls underneath. So you're not going to overcome that.
Cody knows, he told us this week, you got to drive the whole field against these guys. They're going to make you earn it every single game, every single time.
Yeah, there's so many teams in the CFL that, you know, they eliminate man coverage as much as they can because they don't want to give up some of those explosive plays.
Punt right down the middle of the field, bouncing for Leak. It was a two-man return, but they'll leave it for Leak, and he crosses the 55. Good starting field position here for Chad Kelly and the Toronto Argonauts offense. They lead the Canadian Football League 34.8 points per game so far this season. They are sitting 1-0 against the Alouettes, trying to stay undefeated in the season series.
There's the person who's closest to the ball when you're going to take the shots downfield. He's got to do a little bit better job of that. We've got to get this run game going to start.
Show run, fake it this time, loading it up. Kelly looks backside, and it is completed. That's Cam Phillips making the grab in front of Ciante Evans for a big chunk for the double blue.
A big play action allows, big play actions allow you to push the ball downfield. You'll see him play action set back up, and then there's two crossing routes. He figures out where the safety went and throws opposite. Beautiful located throw. He does an outstanding job of throwing it into tight windows, Marshall.
Ciante Evans in coverage there, missed 8 games so far this season, had 3 interceptions. Real hot start to start the season. He's back in the lineup. Couldn't make the play that time against Phillips. Now Kelly with some pressure on, stutters the feet, rolls to his and he will be brought down at or near the line of scrimmage. We'll see, but that is Mr. number 0, Sean Lemon. And if it goes down as a minimal gain, looks like, it will not count as a sack in the illustrious career of number 0.
There's our guy. Sean's just an outstanding individual, a great pro. As they do a twist, they're trying to double him. They have multiple players on him. As he starts to scramble, you know, Chad just loses sight of him. You know, the coverage was really there. They dropped people out of coverage to give him an opportunity to make that play.
Kelly fades it to the outside this time, cutting back. It is DeMonte Coxey making the grab. Kavian Ento alongside Marc-Antoine Duquois bring him down, but it's a second down conversion for the Argonauts. They are no strangers to that. Best in the CFL converting on second.
Yeah, one of the things Chad does very well is sees the opening on the wide side of the field. He sees Coxey on the outside. He knows there's a lot of players on the inside. He takes the one-on-one throw on the outside. He's got the arm strength to push it out there. Really good conversion there on second and long.
Argonauts best in the CFL at getting score zone touchdowns as well. 73% of the time they come away with one. We'll see if they do here. Cutting to the end zone, nearly reaching, was Davaris Daniels, aiming for his 8th touchdown of the season. He's at 7 for now.
This would be standard Noel Thorpe defense. He likes to send pressure. You're going to see 7 players blitzing off the edge to create an opportunity for the pressure play.
As Kelly with a flag up, tried to sneak it forward. They went quick on a slap out, trying to get to the line of scrimmage quickly as possible.
The Montreal defensive line lined up offside. It's an automatic first down at the 1-yard line.
So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to do one of 2 things. You're going to go as fast as you can to make sure they can't substitute and get in on the short yardage QB sneak. But the other thing that happens when you go fast in tempo, sometimes the D linemen don't get aligned in time, and they're hurried up and then line up off sides, and that's exactly what happens. Now they can put the big people in and do the wedge with everybody up there.
It is Cam Dukes into the ball game right now. He dives his way forward, pounding the line, flags up once again. No signal as of yet.
The defensive line lined up offside. That penalty decline. It's a touchdown.
And Dukes has his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. The Argonauts take the early lead here at BMO.
Dukes has been getting a little bit of action this year. And again, what you're trying to do, you're trying to create a moving wall. I call it a wedge. You're going to move the players either over the center or over the off tackle. These look to be to the right tackle, and it's a whole moving wedge that pushes everybody in there. Again, when you get the ball inside the 1-yard line, you got to score at least 95% of the time.
6 plays, 51 yards with that great starting field position on a short punt from Joseph Sema. Returned quickly by Javon Leak. Down the field, Toronto's offense goes in just 2 minutes and 51 seconds. And it is into the end end zone for Cam Dukes on the quarterback wedge. Making Lapo happy. Properly executed sneak. 7-0 here, nearly halfway through the first quarter, and a nice drive, efficient, but some big shot plays as well from Kelly Lapo.
Yeah, 23-yard pass play here. Talking to Ryan Dimwitty was an interesting conversation. He talked about Chad Kelly's ability to locate the deep ball passes is what's really set them over the edge compared to last season. They had a lot of opportunities last season. They didn't hit him as well. And certainly those explosive plays are what helps you put yourself in position to score touchdowns. So Chad Kelly's deep ball accuracy has been a huge game for them this year.
Ball is loose. Did Jack Cassar touch it last as Chandler Worthy was dealing with a booming kick from Boris Beatty, and Toronto is all over it with early momentum and another short field.
Mickey Donovan can't say enough good things about Cassar. The effort he plays with, how he can put him against anybody he wanted to in their punt return and punt cover schemes.
Benoit Marion was the one that ripped it out as he was battling through the tackle. Big 93 right there, just ran into it, and Cassar looked like he was trying to get back on top of it, but last touched, and the Carleton grad earns possession for the Toronto Argonauts offense. Hot, and gets it back at the 24-yard line of the Alouettes. They'll begin with an inside run this time. A.J. Ouellette right down that near hash. And a solid pickup on first down. Let's look at this Montreal starting defense that has their backs against the wall here early on.
Yeah, Mustafa Johnson, very good pass rusher, 4 sacks this season. Can he win one-on-one battles to help them? Beverett has to move over to the field, strong side linebacker, and Dubois with his 11 interceptions this year is amazing.
A.J. Ouellette, touchdown Argos! Back-to-back carries for Ouellette, and the Argos are back in the end zone immediately.
Great run. I'm trying to explain the defense. All of a sudden, there's a touchdown. And Dubois has 11 takeaways in 2 seasons, not 11 interceptions right now. Once again, another inside zone play. This is the bread and butter of what they like to do. And again, he winds it back behind the nose guard. What you're trying to do is get him to flow. If the defenders to the field flow, and then the nose guard, the player lined over the center, moves, he then cuts behind it and then gets north-south. And just such a great, powerful lower body on him, Marshall.
5th touchdown rushing of the season for A.J. Ouellette. It just took 2 plays, back-to-back runs, and the Argonauts in control here, sending a message at home. 14 points in 63 seconds. Argos up.
Game, and that is working well for them so far.
Well, what's funny about that, Lapo, is they always say establish the run. We want to get out here on first down and run the rock, and they have this season. The first touchdown drive, they didn't do any of that on first down. Second one, they lead right into it, and it's 14 points back-to-back. As away goes Chandler Worthy. Huge kick return. Can he outrun Boris Beatty towards the end zone? And Beatty grabs the shoelace of Worthy, preventing what would have been his second return touchdown of the season.
Great effort by Beatty, just diving at the shoestrings to make the tackle to put this defense back on the field. That's a huge play here, because now we do have a rep of Montreal in the red zone, but as we know, Montreal has really struggled this season in the red zone as the 7th best scoring team in the red zone. So that's a huge play by Beatty to put his defense on the football field.
That was a monster play by Beatty, but it does give Cody Fajardo blissfully a short field that Toronto just had on their own end. After Worthy fumbled, he made up big for that one as the big man, William Stanback, goes rumbling here on first down. As we get another look here at the shoelace tackle of Boris Beatty.
As he's chasing down, he's doing double duty this week. Obviously, he said it.
Triple duty, he's playing defense.
With punting, kicking off, field goals, and now he's on defense. Going to go play free safety.
Look at that, got just enough. It looked like Worthy was home free. Second down and 5. Fajardo, deep drop over the middle into the end zone. Big collision right at the goal line. And it is completed. It looks like Nicole Speaker, but he is immediately in distress.
Yeah, he got popped. Hopefully he'll be okay.
They take a look right away, and Austin Mack has a word as well. Ruling on the field here.
What you're going to see is they played zone coverage. Cody's looking to the wide side of the field, then he flips his hips, finds Speaker right in the middle of the defense, and that's what happens. There's going to be a gap in that defense. It's what you would call a middle open defense, and then sooner or later that safety's coming over, and as we see that coming over, there's going to be that shot, and that should be a helmet to helmet, I believe.
As Tavares McFadden flying in from the backside. That time playing at the field halfback. He has played corner, but a lot of moving pieces after a lot of injuries in the Toronto secondary. It's good to see Speaker up onto his feet. Had a monster game here in his debut in the CFL at the end of last season. Just 6 catches before that one. But the Alouettes on the board with a big-time catch over the middle with McFadden flying in from the backside.
Yeah, and good recognition by Cody and understanding that there's nobody in the middle of the field. As soon as Speaker gets past that linebacker, he'll find that space.
It was a 2-play drive that gave the Argonauts an extended lead on their last drive with A.J. Ouellette. Oh, how about a 2-play drive on the other side with a short field? And the Montreal Alouettes just 24 yards and 55 seconds. And that man right there, Cole Speaker, into the end zone as the Alouettes answer, trying to show that they can play with this nearly undefeated Argos squad.
Yeah, Speaker did. Here's a picture of it, right? You'll see Speaker working to the middle of the field here, but you have 2 safeties that are going to open up and open the space on the inside. As Cody recognizes that, all he knows, I just have to wait till we clear the linebacker, and great location to the middle of the field. So great eyes by Cody, great rhythm on the throw to anticipate it, throw it early, and certainly McFadden's going to be there and going to deliver a shot, but they get the touchdown. Nice catch by Speaker.
First touchdown catch of the season for Speaker. That is the 8th touchdown pass of the year for Cody Fajardo. And it is a big one because they've really struggled in the score zone as of late. And they want to be able to correct that. We'll get to a couple of Lapo's points of improvement, what you can do better down deep inside Toronto territory as this game rolls along. Put it back in the hands of Lee. Can he answer what Worthy did with the massive kick return? He won't. Chopped down just shy of the 40-yard line that time. It's a nice special teams play made by a man who's always making them in Montreal, the Western grad, Zach Lindley.
Yeah, you mentioned about Cody with only, that's his 8th touchdown. Out of all the starting quarterbacks, I know he's missed a couple of games, but only 7 touchdowns. It's an area that's just got to improve for them to continue to build to where they want to be. A.J. Ouellette, here's an interesting point. Talking to Andrew Harris about their relationship, A.J. said, we don't do a rotation. I just go out when the coaches don't do it. We handle the rotation ourselves. When I'm tired, I come out, Andrew takes me out. We figure it out ourselves. It's nothing the coaches do. It's something we do ourselves.
First down run for the Argonauts here, right into the pile. Bryce Notree chops down Andrew Harris. But interesting, he said, we just kind of understand when we're doing those substitutions, what the pattern's going to be. The coaches, like you say, have nothing to do with it. But this is after an A.J. Ouellette touchdown back-to-back, and you just decide, you know what, let's pull a couple of guards and get Harris a touch.
Yeah, and he does, A.J. was very interesting. He talked about Andrew. The things that Andrew helped him was have vision, like right there on that outside zone play. Vision, when to cut it up, read the second level. He's learned so much from the veteran football player.
Pressure from the Alouettes to the outside. It's David Unger. Kavian Ento right there. Pulls him out of bounds, but a first down on second. Once again for Toronto.
Montreal bringing pressure on the inside. What that means is both inside linebackers are blitzing here to make sure this ball gets out of the hand. Gets out much quicker on the outside. Chad Kelly recognizes it. Locates a great ball to the wide side of the field to Unger. Unger was great last game. 2 touchdowns.
Up against Kavian Ento on that wide side here today. There's a high snap brought down by Kelly, gets it into the belly of Harris quickly, and on first down with a flag up. Driving the legs is Harris. See what the call is here early on. It looks like it'll go against the Alouettes.
Yeah, back to AJ. The one thing, AJ, I asked him how he is different this season.
We'll go up 5 yards. We'll replay first down.
And the one thing AJ said, he has so much more confidence, Marshall, this year. And I said, well, you're a great player last year. He says, you know, I've been cut from so many teams. I've been so many spots. This is the first time I've been the guy in charge. And the coaches believe in me. So I'm just so much more confident this year. And obviously it shows with his play.
Not short on confidence with the Thor hammer the hammer.
Or the penalty he got on it. Lord.
Show that one later on. Coaches love that. As Kelly loads it up, looks downfield, out to the wide side. And it is caught. Coxie cutting back outside in. The cavalry arrives to drive him out of bounds. It's Deontay Evans battling with Coxie.
And a little bit of a fight going on there after that catch. This is the beauty of Chad Kelly. Montreal wants to play zone coverage. You're going to see people dropping off into holes on the field. The protection, nobody's open. The protection breaks down. He starts to scramble. He finds the weakness in the zone as he scrambles and throws it to the outside. Again, most of the time, the weaknesses in zones are to the wide side of the field. So great recognition, and that's what's so difficult to play Chad Kelly.
Oaksey with 11 second down conversions leads the Argos. This time they get it out hot underneath. It is completed. That's number 81, Tommy Neal, the Mac grad, 4th round pick back in 2021, his first catch of the season.
And yeah, part of the course, what happens after a couple of plays, you're going to see pressure from Noel Thorpe. And here you go, pressure the last 2 plays.
Kelly looking over the middle, high and away. Tavares Daniels twice has come close to that 8th touchdown on the season and can't haul that one in.
Yeah, there's a voided zone in the middle of the field. When you start to bring extra linebackers, you're going to create some spaces on the field, and Daniels is in a great spot. Chad just missed it a little bit high.
A rare time where Kelly's been off target this season. It has been a little high. It's a great shot there. He almost grabbed the laces and brought that thing down and leaves 2nd down and 10. Argos converting at 39% on 2nd and 7 plus. The pressure package on once again, knocked away. Great play rolling down that time. Marc-Antoine Duquois from the free safety spot.
Yeah, once again, Montreal down here is going to want to bring pressure to the 3 receiver side. You're going to see where the throw goes. This throw has to happen because how many people are blitzing off the edge. It just makes you to throw the quick throw. He didn't have time to throw the ball in the middle of the field where it's wide open.
The Argonauts only giving up 10 sacks so far this season. That's the best in the CFL by 14. Some of it's got to do with the protection. Some of it's got to do with the quick decision making of Chad Kelly. As he got that one out and away to prevent the sack, it leads to a field goal attempt for Boris Beatty. Almost perfect on the season coming in. 16 of 17. His only miss was on the road in Montreal earlier this season, July 14th. Cody Fajardo and the Montreal Alouettes sitting at 6-5 on the season, a 2-game losing streak. They'd like to put that to an end here today at BMO in a battle of the East Division's best. Fajardo 4-5 in games started here in 2023. A ton of hits and sacks taken. He was clean on this one. Popped it over the top to Cole Speaker. His points on the board for the Alouettes, dearly needed early on as Toronto's offense continues to turn away.
And yeah, one thing you talked about is taking hits. We talk about one of the things he has been taking more hits and why.
Fletcher dives down the middle, stacked up by that Toronto front. Let's look at this starting Argonauts team.
Folaran Orimolade, Ivy League from Dartmouth. Where's Dartmouth from? New Hampshire. He's got 31 hurries, PFF fast off the edge, right? Pickett was outstanding last week. 9 tackles, sack, 4 fumbles, tackle for a loss. Great player. The DB's excellent group of players. I'm not going to talk about them. No, I'm no love to them. Who I'm giving my love to, right? I've got to give all my love to Boris Beatty, right? That guy is, because of the injury, right, he's now going to do both jobs. Not something he hasn't done before, but it's crucially important to have somebody, who can basically handle both jobs. And certainly that frees up a roster spot for Cinco as a global D-back to come on and help with special teams. But, we never give enough, when we do all the intros, we never give enough love to the special teams, Marshall.
Huge part of the game. It looks like for Toronto, Robertson Daniel is down as he was a game time decision coming in, an absolute stat stuffer for the Argonauts throughout the year, and tough for them as well because Deshaun Amos was down injured the last time that Toronto was playing here at home, and at that time just got folded up underneath the pile.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay.
There's Deshaun Amos, another one of these outstanding halfbacks that they've had. They've had to move Quantez Stiggers over when Jamal Peters came back from his NFL opportunities. You see Enoch Mwamba as well standing down there with Deshaun Amos, but they've been moving pieces all over the place in this secondary. Despite having so much success and creating so many turnovers, it's starting to rack up a little bit with Amos on the sideline from the last home game a couple weeks ago, and now a gingerly walking, but thankfully walking on his mostly own power, Robertson Daniel.
And Amos has done a great job with Stiggers. Stiggers, we talked to him this week, and Quantez Stiggers said, I loved everything that I try to talk to him in meetings. He tries to keep me grounded. There's a lot to learn as a young 21-year-old. He tells me, hey, just concentrate on one thing. And it's great to have veterans like that in the room to be able to help these young players.
Young Mason Pierce, first-year CFLer out of the Colorado School of Mines, is in a boundary halfback. You can see Royce Mechie walking over and talking to him. 28 in double blue. And see if Fajardo goes there at some point soon. Tyler Stone over the middle of the intended receiver. This one looks like it's incomplete, and pounding the turf is Winton McManus, as he thought he had his second interception of the year, and now it's a scrum between the benches.
Last game, McManus had a really nice interception on Cody off a run-pass option.
Austin Mack, with his league-leading 60 catches, has been fired up a couple times already in this one as not just a statistical leader of the Alouettes, but also one of the emotional leaders at this point, as Falarna Rimolade not happy with something either. But we saw on the speaker big hit on the touchdown Lapo that right there Austin Mack got up in the face of some of the Toronto defenders, and again at the end of this one he's involved.
Yeah, what you're seeing is a play to the middle of the field as he starts to work for width. You just got to be cautious how far inside the quarterback will throw it.
Austin Mack locked up that time with Quantez Stiggers at the end of the play. We talked with Quantez this week. As you say, great guy, but yeah, he's got some physicality to him, and he certainly has a little bit of an edge coming out with. But you are on a mission to get him recognized for where he went to high school, because he didn't play college ball.
Yeah, and on the roster it says everybody's college or where everybody went to school, and then it's just a blank page. It said to the media guys, can't you put like his high school down instead of no college or nothing there? Yeah, Stiggers was an interesting. We asked him what is interesting about this league. What did you have to learn? He's, well, geez, making my own bed, cleaning up after myself, doing my laundry and everything. You forget he's only a 21-year-old.
Crazy.
And the interesting thing, talking to the coaches about it, I talked to Corey Mace. It's like, we weren't sure this guy hasn't played college to be any good. We didn't even know what his 40 time was. And I said, what do you mean? That is a great point. You have no idea. He's never been in a pro day. He's never had his college team run his 40 because he didn't go to college. So they're just, John Jenkins did an talk to, I believe, Jim Barker, our own Jim Barker at TSN, and said, hey, this kid's a talented football player I'm working with. I think you guys got to take a look at him. He's really enjoying coming up here and learning about the waggle and everybody running and attacking the line of scrimmage.
And Quantez
the result of the play is an incomplete pass. After the play, we have a rough play disqualification. Montreal, number 81. He's gone from the game. We also have a misconduct 15-yarder against Toronto, number 9. We're going to go back 10 yards. It's going to be third down for Montreal.
Wow. Austin Mack is gone from this game for the Montreal Alouettes, and a team that lost Greg Ellingson back to the 6-game injured list recently, doesn't have Keon Julian Grant, doesn't have Herchi Mayala in the lineup. That is a massive loss for the Alouettes as they try to keep pace with Toronto's offense here today.
And I know the league has talked strongly about making sure that all the stuff after a game, the fighting, the other things, are going to be flagged and rough play disqualification put out there. And I'm certain some of the things that happened last week in the Labor Day Classic could have factored into, hey, make sure if there's some rough play, throw people out if there's a rough play disqualification.
Austin Mack gone from Montreal. We'll see the impact that has in this ball game. As they deem that, I guess, to be a punch thrown, and trying to get to the wide side. Goes to that loop, running across the 55 once again. And right out in front, it's Bryce Notree shaking his head, trying to figure out how do we get back on 32 before he can pop for his 5th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, the Argos do not look like a team that had 2 less days of practice. So for a short week, for people to understand, when there's a game with a short week, you only get 1 walkthrough and 1 practice. That's a great move on the ref.
Lead blocker in black and white that time. Ouellette right down the near hash is another good chunk on 1st down. They continue to pound it on 1st down and get some quality yardage.
Yeah, going back to that, you're going to look at your call sheets that you had the last game and say, well, this we didn't call. Let's keep it in the game plan. We don't have time to rep all these things, but what are the things we do best? So these are usually smaller game plans because of only 1 day of practice. They get a little bit of a walk through Toronto, and sometimes that helps you because you're just calling your best things.
Snap comes up, pressure on against Kelly here. He's got man coverage all over the place, fades it over the top. Nearly intercepted. Flying in was Kabian-Ento. He fell off from that corner spot. Nearly made the play as we get the wide shot, Lapo. And
I'm going to try to use numbers here, and we'll
yeah.
see. Watch this. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think a 7th is coming. You're seeing everybody show up at the line of scrimmage, forcing Toronto, forcing Montreal's players to be in a one-on-one situation. They have to play inside leverage. That's why they have an open opportunity, but the ball's just a little bit outside and allows that field corner to get involved too. Montreal's trying to force a sack to make this field goal longer, Marshall.
Beatty hasn't had an attempt from beyond 50. This one will come from 51 yards away. Never in question. Hammers it through.
Makes tackles, punts, kickoff, does it all. See him throw. Maybe he'll throw this game.
He improves his percentage on the season, already leading the CFL in field goal percentage. As we get a look at Super Saturday, 2 more games coming for you. The Banjo Bowl, be a great one. And again, the rematch, Calgary and Edmonton. You think Trey Ford's going to rip off another 70-plus yard rush or what?
I mean, if they could only be like last week's game, just outstanding football last week. Expect to get the same this week.
Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton. And these guys apparently bought tickets online, thought they were going to the Banjo Bowl, and here they are at Bebo. Cody rolls away on the bootleg, flips it out into the flats, complete. And it is Toronto trying to find a way to bring down Tyson Philpott as he gets his first grab of the ball game, and a 20-point first quarter for the Toronto Argonauts. They came into this ball game plus 56 in scoring differential, first by 31 points. Well, they've just tagged another plus 13 onto that in a season that's been spectacular for them. But a great matchup between the 2 best teams in the East. More when we return. Austin Mack also gone from this ball game. A couple of field goals tagged on from Boris Beatty. His max on the season is 3 in a single game. He's already got 2, but perhaps more importantly, he's got a tackle as well.
Yeah, his ability to do multiple things. Talking to the coaching staff before the game, his ability to be a holder, to be able to make his kicks, to be able to punt, to be able to basically lead the CFL in kickoff coverage, because he averages almost 75 yards on a kickoff. And it's so important when teams have to start their drive so much more backed up because his ability to kick the ball off. So Boris Beatty's just a huge weapon for this football team.
Boris is saying, why is the camera on me coming out of the first quarter of play here? Well, he's been a big part of the story as Caleb Evans plunges forward here. 2-0 as the start of this year, and back to short yardage duty with Cody Fajardo back in the lineup, but he picks it up, and they'll let Caleb stay on the field here. A little mix and match. This is a Lapo special. You get the short yardage and you let the backup stay in.
Yeah, you leave the whole team in. It allows you to have maybe 1 or 2 plays that Caleb can do that maybe aren't Cody's strengths, and allows your backup quarterback to actually just go ahead and get some reps.
Evans gives a little hot pass, jet sweep underneath. It goes to Philpott, and you expect that Philpott and Tyler Sneed would have to have considerable statistical performances here with Austin Mack out of the lineup ejected.
And here's another point on Cody also. Well, let's take a look at this play first. You're going to see the offensive line are going to go in this direction, and then all of a sudden what you do is you throw everybody going one direction and you flip the ball the other way. The defensive linemen and linebackers follow the offensive line because that's where the ball normally goes, and then the ball goes the other way.
Garda with 2 games at 300-plus yards on this season. This time he throws it behind the line of scrimmage, gets it out of his hands quickly to Williams. Standback. Always a good time to get it into the paws of 31 as he crosses the midfield stripe and gets it up around the 50. Should be a yard or 2 shy.
Quick little screen out here to Standback, but the problem with some of these screens is I love what the Toronto defense, Stiggers here comes up with such speed. It's hard to block those guys when you see those screens, especially the field corners. They see the ball in the air a long time. Stiggers really is the one who didn't let that screen get started.
Alouettes going for it, or at least looking like they're going to go for it here with Caleb Evans back in the ball game. 9 of 11 on the season in 3rd and short, but this is a big yard. They need a big push. Evans off to the right-hand side, going nowhere. He lunges backwards.
I don't know if he's going to get this. It was a little bit longer than a yard.
Toronto believes that they've got the stop, but Darius Pickett is celebrating, but on the backside of the play, there was a scrap breaking out once again. As we'll see who were the involved parties in this one. But
so when people sometimes say, well, why don't you just go wedge straight forward or QB sneak straight ahead? One of the reasons you're going to do a wider wedge, especially on a 3rd and short, is because everybody packs as many people inside. And when you have all those huge defensive line bodies inside, it gets smaller bodies the wider out you go.
As we see the inside out, top of your screen is where the action was at.
Too much penetration at the point of attack. Outstanding job by Toronto. Create the penetration.
Tuck and Jamal Peters got into it.
And
they'll bring out the chain gang and take a look here to see whether or not Caleb Evans was able to convert on 3rd and a full yard from just across midfield.
Short.
And that
long way.
Well short. Couldn't even get the sticks in frame and did what he said. Well, maybe bring him out.
After the play, we have 2 misconduct 15-yard penalties. Once against Montreal 40, one against Toronto 3. Those penalties.
2 misconduct penalties. So that'll go into the, can't get more than 2 misconducts or else be thrown out of the game.
Yeah, on your second, ejected from the ball game. And the Toronto offense back on the field here after the defense gets them possession back. Blitz coming. Kelly throws right into it. The outside up to midfield. It is completed. Be a gain of 5.
Yeah, you're starting to see the game plan, and the game plan is I'm going to pressure Cody. I'm going to pressure Kelly. And once again, a blitz off the outside from Noel Thorpe, trying to make sure that the ball comes out of his hand quickly.
Asked Chad Kelly when they were in Montreal earlier this season, what do you remember of your first start last year when, of course, McLeod Bethel Thompson was the starter, Kelly the backup? He said, I just remember they absolutely pressured the hell out of him. He said they're going to blitz every single time, and it taught me how to play in the CFL against pressure. Over the middle this time, Bryce Notree knocks it away. Great coverage. Deontay Evans was all over Davaris Daniels as once again Montreal brought the heat.
Yeah, interesting. Let's take a look at what they tried to do. If you watch right here, they're trying to show a blitz. All right, but then they're going to drop out of the blitz. I believe it might have been Bryce Notree on the outside. Sorry, here at 44. He shows blitz, and then he bails out. So the quarterback is thinking, I'm going to take my hot, quick throw. But you start to show a blitz, and then you bail out of it, and then you can try to make that interception, and almost happened right there. A good play by Notree and good scheme by the defense.
Notree has that look on his face on the sideline like, maybe if I would have got both hands on it, we might be talking interception here. He doesn't have any on the year so far, but Boris Beattie set to punt it away. Standing back is Chandler Worthy. This one a beautiful spiraling boot inside the 5, and Worthy nearly slips down inside the 10, and for all of his troubles gets rewarded with a big smack from a couple of former Carleton Ravens as Bryce Notry, after a 51-yard punt and just a 5-yard return in coverage, drop it out underneath, knocks it down. Might have had
I got in my toolbox, so now that's another thing Toronto has to handle, the run game by the quarterback.
Look to throw this time over the top, down the right sideline, double coverage up for grabs, and incomplete, looking for Philpott, but it was Stiggers right there alongside Tavares McFadden on the outside.
And an interesting stat about the Montreal offense is they're second in the Canadian Football League in deep ball explosives, 30-plus completions. And there's another shot as they did, but it's dropped off dramatically since the first 5 games of the season. And certainly, normally, you would get touchdowns out of those deep ball completions. They just haven't scored as many touchdowns on those deep shots. I've got one out there to Philpott.
Argos defense sacking opposing quarterbacks on 8.9% of dropbacks. That's best in the CFL. Cody won't give them the chance here. Out quickly, Tyler Sneed, first down Owls.
Sneed has an excellent understanding of zone structure and when to sit down. You'll see him right here, and as you follow him, there's going to be pressure from Toronto, and they give a void of an area of the field. When that area of the field is, what you're trying to do is just settle down, be in space. Great recognition by Cody, and Sneed is sitting in the hole.
Gain of 16 that time as they go back to the run. Walter Fletcher back in the lineup here as he's been banged up throughout the season. Only 3 games played. They want to give him some love. But on that Sneed completion as well, they were going after the newcomer Mason Pierce, and of course for the injured Robertson Daniel from earlier. Wonder if we see more of that on second down as this game continues.
Yeah, and what you would start to see is more teams are also going to say, well, we're not going to put that player in man coverage. Younger player, we'll try to make him a low player, put people over the top to help him. It's not as easy to take those shots on that player if they're protecting him the right way.
6-man rush here from Toronto. They'll screen it away. Fletcher's got it in his hands, running away from the coverage men, and to the first down. Another conversion for Montreal.
Screen pass for Fletcher. And you're going to see, okay, what I want you to have an understanding when you see this is watch this linebacker right here. The linebacker is going to, he's responsible for handling the screen, but Christian Matt does an outstanding job of making sure that I block the man. Once it's a screen pass and it's man coverage, you block the man who's responsible for the screen. Christian Matt, great job, gets the first down play.
Joe screens it backside to Chandler Worthy. The return Owls get him in space, crosses the 50, the 55, stays on his feet. And Worthy, the rare offensive touch, just his 7th catch of the season, gets a new long on the year.
Putting speed in space. And last time these two teams played, Montreal ran 7 screens in the game. Here's another screen pass. Get the ball to Chandler in space. Treat it just like a punt return. And slow down that pass rush and create opportunities and easy completions for the offense.
8 yards on the screen to Fletcher. That time 22. Out to Chandler Worthy, who stays on the field offensively. Lone receiver to the top of your screen. Will take the run. Now Cody runs outside, gets it out to Philpott. He'll get pushed out of bounds as the flag comes up as well.
I think you're going to see this as a blocking downfield, but it's going to be whether they determine this throw was behind the line of scrimmage or not.
It wasn't completed behind the original line, which was the 51 of Toronto.
Because you do have receivers blocking downfield, but they're probably determining whether it was behind the line of scrimmage.
And center takes a look
Major
at it.
foul, crackback. Montreal number 85. We'll replay first down.
So what you're not allowed to do, you're not allowed to come into the line of scrimmage and block in on a player, and you cannot hit him with an element of force. A rule put in place after the 2019 season. And it's very hard. You have to use the term, hey, you got to go up, you're going to crack somebody, you got to crack them kindly and say, hey, how you doing? You can't hit him with you can't hit him with force.
Another completion here to Chandler Worthy. Spun around on first and forever. Got a couple of yards back, and it'll leave them 2nd and 20.
First and forever. Not a lot of great calls on the first and forever part of the game plan. Nice and easy underneath coverage. What all you're trying to do is just put a person in a spot, get that easy completion, while Toronto stays back in zone. Try to get half of it back.
Looks like with Austin Mack out, the adjustment here for Montreal has been that man. Chandler Worthy played primarily receiver for the Argonauts when he was here multiple times. This one goes to Philpott, trying to get across the 50. He does. He'll be about 7 yards shy this time. We'll see how brave the special teams unit of Byron Archambault is with their decision on punt or field goal.
Yeah, not a bad guy to get the ball in space, too. Philpott's got the ability to make people miss. It's just hard to overcome that amount of yardage. Starting on 1st and 25.
A battle of top teams in the East Division. The Argos off of their best start since 1996. They'll hold here and send back. Looks like Pierce alongside Javon Leake. And Javon Leake is trying to get the new guy up to speed here, communicating on the back end of where he's going and what he's doing. I got a feeling that boy saying, just leave it for me. It's fine. I got four touchdowns on the season. Let me handle this one. Joseph Zima, side-winding kick. Beautiful high winder, drops down inside the 5. Leake does get his hands on it. And a block will be called in the back here, so it'll pin Toronto deep in their own end of the field. As the return comes up to the 23-yard line. As AJO led and the rushing attack of the Toronto Argonauts on the season. Making things happen. It got some
week, and about his role in this system, this team, he's really enjoying the leadership and about teaching about communicating better in the offensive line meeting rooms and educating AJ. One of the biggest things he told AJ, that AJ, you're a really good football player. You can run out of bounds sometimes. I've been in this league a long time. You need to protect your legs. And Andrew's just loving the role as the reps come to him when he gets them. Otherwise, he's a leader on the field and off the field.
Gets it here. Minimal gain, but just trying to get some breathing room away from their own goal line.
Number 94, Mustafa Johnson.
Out here, you're going to see an outside zone play. So everybody's going to reach to the front side, and Andrew's going to try to read to see, is there an opportunity to cut it back as they get a crack block down. Andrew bounces it outside to make sure they get a little bit of room because they're backed up right here.
Peter Nicastro battling that time against Jamal Davis. Davis one, pressure on, Kelly will throw. Goes to the outside, nobody home. Miscommunication that time, looked like with Tavares Daniels, and it was Stubblefield looking for his 2nd interception of the season.
So you will see an interesting, I talked last week and I did a talk about situational football. So here, backed up at the 4-yard line, you're going to see more throws into the boundary like that, Marshall, because you got so much concern about the wide side of the field because you got the goalpost right there. A little miscommunication there on whether he's breaking out or in.
Kelly
forces this punt out of the back of the end zone.
One of his last 6 at this point here, cooling off in the 2nd quarter after putting up 20 first-quarter points. No points on the board here as we near the 5-minute mark of the first half. Chandler Worthy's going to catch it in Toronto's end of the field and head towards the wide side. That's wrapped up after a 10-yard return.
Some people may talk about, why are you kicking out of the back of the end zone? Well, because there's too many opportunities. You don't want to give up points nowadays. The ball's at the 40-yard line. You got to get the ball out.
For the Toronto Argonauts and their fans showing up and bringing the cans as well, making sure people are supported. Got Paul Prefontaine, Talbot down there as well, signing some autographs. They got a little thing called the Grey Cup. They might have won last season. Saskatchewan stopped 8 of 10. Ottawa, Regina, you got next. Make sure you're out there. Of course, there's a cheerleader tackle hunger. For more information throughout the year, Cody Fajardo looks frontside, backside screen. They go to the fullback this time. It's James Tuck getting the rare touch as it's It's a minimal gain, but mixing and matching, which is the 7th catch of the season for Tuck.
Yeah, they love the versatility of Tuck. He's got the ability to play out at wide receiver, come into the blocking scheme, obviously understand all the protections, and then stay in and be an extra blocker. And they're certainly seeing some pressure from Toronto, some perimeter pressure, so they like having him around for that. Still on the field.
Those called runs, we haven't seen many of them. This might be an interesting time to try and mix it up on 2nd and long, go off the script. They'll empty it out for Cody. Looks to the wide side, flips it out. It is complete, now popped in the air. And was it completed, fumbled, and tapped out, or incomplete? They'll get together and talk about it. Darius Pickett was the last to touch it. If they deem it to be somehow a completion and a fumble.
And again, this is why you love to play zone coverage. When you're playing zone coverage, the deep players are watching and seeing when the ball comes out. Cody gets this ball out quickly. That allows Peters to see it and then drive the football. So I know this team loves playing zone coverage because they can get eyes to the quarterback and then they can rally up, use their speed to make plays on these underneath short throws.
It'll go down as another fumble loss for the Montreal Alouettes, their 10th of the season. That's the most in the Canadian Football League. Can't really say much against William Stanback there. Such a bang-bang play, but he did grab it, tuck it away, and it got popped out. Darius Pickett at the end of the bench. Johnny on the spot.
Another great play by Pickett.
Come on now.
Knocks it away out of bounds. Toronto gets the football back. Ouellette running through an arm tackle. Turns north-south. And gets a nice chunk again on 1st down. It'll be right near a 1st down. They will move the sticks.
That's the impressive thing, is his lower body strength is so good. He's got the ability, he's really got the ability to make sure he can break tackles as he finds that space right there. Bounces it outside, lateral movement, gets north-south, gets his shoulder pad down to create a 1st down.
Not that much difference between Tyrese Bevered, who was the arm tackle attempter, but it's the lower body strength of Ouellette making the difference there. This time, Montreal sends the pressure, and again, just driving the legs and following the left side of that offensive line. Ouellette gets another big piece. Looks like this one will go for a gain of about 6 or 7.
And as you watch this game, you'll see Toronto will always have a speed sweep player, somebody coming across the formation, motioning across to try to eye distract the linebackers or the defensive line. Makes it very difficult to be able to follow the ball.
That man, Frederick Chagnon, with the shoulder pads and the jersey all rolled up. He is in the trenches today, replacing Avery Williams, injured and out. This time they try to throw it for the 1st down on 2nd and 3. And we haven't said that name yet. Surprising, but Curly Gittens Jr. with his 32nd catch of the season, and he does move the chains.
With all this pressure from Montreal, I like this call here. Hey, let's get the ball out on a quick screen on the outside. Make sure that we get the ball in our guy's hand in case there is a pressure play coming. They spread the field with a screen on both sides of the field to give them enough space to get that 1st down.
6th different receiver to catch a pass from Chad Kelly here today. As Tommy Neal motioning around, rarely used. They'll go right back to Curly Gittens Jr. Try to get him into rhythm as he spins away for a gain of 5 this time. And that will take us to the 3-minute warning here in Toronto. Scoreless 2nd quarter, but the Argonauts holding on to an early advantage.
We're going to talk Boris Beatty and why is Kate getting makeup done to our 3-minute warning. That's what happens when you have a big ego like Kate. I'm taking over.
That's me.
Kate, you don't need any makeup. You're beautiful how you are.
Kate doesn't need the makeup.
Now, me and Marshall,
we all know
totally different story.
Chazzy's the one who needs all the makeup. We know that. DeVaris Daniels there rolling his way through the pile as Toronto goes quickly for another 1st down. Gain of 14 here as Chad Kelly starting to get a bit more into rhythm inside the 3-minute warning.
Daniels right here. Same thing. He sees space, sits it down at 6 yards. They've got the perfect call into this zone pressure, zone blitz, drops it off. That's what shows a 6-yard gain can easily turn into 14 yards if you throw it to the open spot where the defense isn't.
A.J. Ouellette in the backfield alongside Kelly. 1st and 10. Inside handoff goes to A.J. Inside the 20-yard line he goes. Grind a little clock and just push the pile once again.
Yeah, gives that. AJ's done a really. what I like about AJ is his ability to stay in the game, and then all of a sudden those 3-yard runs, all of a sudden turns, he spins off a tackle and he turns that into a 50-yard play.
Jamal Davis and Sean Lemoncheck out of the ball game. Some substitution confusion defensively.
Confusion by Montreal.
Trying to sort out who they want on the field. Chris Moore, backup linebacker, in on 2nd and 4. Misdirection. They'll try to just pitch it off the edge. It's going to have to be Ouellette by himself. Nobody out in front this time. And Ouellette's going backwards as the Owls were scrambling, Lapo, but they found a way.
They were scrambling, and then they walked 7 people up to the line of scrimmage and said, hey, we are going to come after you. Let's see if I can do the numbers. 1, 2, 3. There's 4. There's a 5th. There's guys coming off of this edge, and there's our 7th as they all show up. AJ's trying to get on the outside. They're trying to do a toss play on the outside of the defense, but it's just hard when you have 2 players outside the defensive end to be able to get outside.
And one thing that Jason Moss told us since the very beginning of training camp that he wanted to instill on everybody in this roster, but specifically Northorpe's led defense, was just get to the football, turn and run and make plays up and down the field. As Moore, who I just mentioned, backup linebacker, slowly up onto his feet. You see Northorpe screaming, watch the ball here on 3rd and 4.
They have the most interceptions in the CFL with 16. They're 3rd in the Canadian Football League in takeaways, and that's kind of what puts you at some wins. You know, both teams are in the middle of the pack, all their statistics, but they are a good team in the turnover margin battle, and that's led them to their wins.
Argonauts stay on the field. They'll go here. 3rd and 4, 90 seconds remaining. And a hard count. Will they go?
Watch the ball! Good job, D! Good job, D!
An acting performance of the year from the recently extended Chad Kelly, but nobody fooled on the other side from Montreal.
Yeah, this is situational football. You would have a term for it. My term would have been a black ball, where you basically do a hard count. What that means is you really enunciate the cadence, trying to get people to jump. What people in our league have done the last couple of years with the utilization of motion, we have a lot more people motioning, trying to make you think that, oh, we're about to snap the ball because somebody's right next to the quarterback or somebody's moving. But after 2 years of that,
well, as a quarterback,
people
Timer, please reset the clock to 1:21.
You never feel smarter than when it works, and you never feel more awkward than when nobody cares what you're doing.
Yeah, and then you can either take a timeout or take the penalty, just you're already in field goal range. Just hoping somebody is undisciplined on the Montreal defense, but excellent job by Montreal understanding the situation.
As Boris Beatty comes out to tag 3 more onto the Argonauts lead, up 20-7. A couple of big splash plays, short fields in the first quarter, gave them control. A pair of Beatty field goals as well, as he looks to tie his season high of 3. And with Beatty handling the responsibilities, Haggerty off the roster. It's David Unger, the holder, putting it down after the long snap from Guillemette. And it is through and good, 23-7. Toronto up over Montreal as a huge Saturday of football here on TSN. The triple header rolls all day long, and of course at the half, we'll throw it back to the panel. It is Kate Milt, Jim Barker, and Dave Naylor breaking it down for you, looking around at some of the other matchups happening out in Western Canada today. And which one are you more excited for? Is this Sask Winnipeg or is it Edmonton Calgary?
It's Sask Winnipeg.
Yep.
I got most of my experience in the West. I've worked for either the Bombers or the Riders, so I would say that's the matchup I would love to see, and that's a great stadium for football. Should be a lot of fun.
See if Jake Dolagala has to bend down and do some more interviews later on. Cody Fajardo over the middle, completes across midfield. Ball is out. Toronto's on top of it. Another fumble lost by the Alouettes, and rolling off and tackle attempts all the way inside the 40. It's a Darius Pickett. 13 defensive plays made last week, and he's got another here in week 14.
Effort, chase the football. When somebody else has got the catch, you come in and wrap up and try. Once the first wraps up, come in and make the play. We're going to get a throw right here in the middle of the field. It's completed. So we come in. The first one goes to wrap. Second one, deliver a blow. Deliver it with speed. Bring physicality. Get the ball out. Too much leverage. Okay, Mechie creates it. Great recognition by Mechie, seeing the ball outside. The ball's got to be tucked into your body. Excellent by Mechie making that play.
Plus 15 turnover differential, the best in the Canadian Football League for the Toronto Argonauts. As AJ Ouellette goes backwards on that one. Sean Lemon talking a little bit as he gets back up. Tackle for loss goes to the sack master of Montreal, signed earlier this season. As Ouellette and Lemon, there's a matchup to watch for the remainder of this one.
Yeah, Ouellette, sometimes when you're running those flat horizontal plays, you're going to create some negative yardage plays like happened right there, and Sean Lemon's right there to make the play.
Kelly goes conservative, flips it outside. Tommy Neal crosses the 40, 35, down near the 30. And Kelly is looking at the sideline immediately to Ryan Dinwiddie and saying, let's go.
They got a couple of yards to go here, but going to try to go tempo, and
doesn't feel like they're going to freeze this one. They get to the line of scrimmage quickly. The full play clock to play with. Game clock rolling as well. And you would think if they were going to go, coach, that they'd want to go now.
Well, some teams will run up, and they'll still do that same false cadence. Run up to the line of scrimmage real quickly and say, hey, we're going to go fast. Everybody's playing fast, and then you do the false cadence.
Time count violation. Toronto number 12. It's a 10-yard penalty. It's going to be third down.
Well, at the very least, they're hoping to tag another 3 on with the unexpected turnover at the end of the first half.
You guys fucking ruined our league.
Yeah, just a disappointing turnover after, nice pass to would have put Montreal close to field goal range. Just hard to make these turnovers. That's what's helping a team on a short week. They're creating the turnovers. Toronto's got that ability to finish with these kicks.
Apologize for the off-color language down on the sidelines. Hot mic. As Boris Beatty gets set to attempt one here from 48 yards away. He's already knocked one through from 51, going the other direction, away from the lake. This one into a bit of a breeze, and it is wide left. Just the second miss of the season for Beatty. The other came against Montreal also earlier this year as Worthy trots across the 35 and is pushed out of bounds. Beatty can't stay perfect, and it ends up not costing the Alouettes after the fumble by Cole Speaker.
I believe Jack Cassar made it. Tackle on the sideline. It was just excellent to just make sure that we escort him out of bounds. Stop that play right there.
As Cassar looks like banged up a little bit at the end of the first half. What's your takeaway, Labo, as the Alouettes get set to kneel this one out and head to the locker room?
Well, they just got to, obviously the thing Jason's going to talk about at halftime if he talks is the takeaways. Like we can't give the ball away when we're on the road. We've got to make sure we hold on to the football and make sure we can drive the length of field and make our plays. Right? The 7 points is not going to be good enough to win against a team that's the top scoring team in the league. So they got to get more points in the second half, whether it's tempo, whether it's no huddle. They got to find a way to create that opportunity.
As AJ Ouellette pounding the rock just like he did on Labor Day this past Monday.
And this is what this team is built for, to run the football. They've got a lead. They're going to run the football, do a couple play-action passes. This is what's so hard about this Toronto Argonaut team that leads the CFL in rushing yards. They have so many different guys who can rush with it. So Montreal's going to have to do something to slow this unit down. They have been pressuring, and then finish up.
Let's go down to Thor.
To do. We didn't get to this play. We didn't get to that play. But don't forget about the best things they've done so far. Now, the big picture is you can't have 4 turnovers in a half and be in any position to win a football game. They just got to get one drive, get some points on the board.
And hold on to the rock here as Chandler Worthy, who had one of those fumbles in the first half, returns it out to the 30-yard line. As we get a look at some of the turnovers that have plagued Cody Fajardo, despite the fact he's 12 of 14 right now and no interceptions.
Yeah, and a big return brought back because of the turnover. Good, excellent job. And again, this Toronto defense that flies around, runs, sees pictures. They're big, they're fast, they're physical, and they hit you in a bad mood, Marshall, and that tends to be ball popping out.
Fajardo effective in the first half. A few of those completions, as you saw, popped out of the hands of his receivers. They'd like to put together a nice long drive to open this one up. They'll go for a punt down the sideline. It's Worthy, makes the catch the safety, Royce Mechie, at the 53-yard line, but right into the old depth of the playbook for Jason Moss out of the halftime adjustments.
Down at the bottom. This coverage right here, as they bring pressure, you're now going to get a space on the field. There you go. There's a space. They jump up on the underneath route, opens the throw on the outside to Worthy. Really good recognition by Cody. And again, handling this pressure, zone pressure from the Argonauts.
Handoff goes in between the tackles. Good job by Toronto's front that time to turn it around. But again, finding different ways on that first play of the offensive half to go after Mason Pierce, who is that young player of the Colorado School of Mines. It's filling in with the injury to Robertson Daniel at boundary halfback.
Yeah, and Orimolade did a good job of pushing the tackle, not giving any opportunity for any running lane to force another second and long for Montreal here.
There you see Pierce digging in as he'll line up right now across from Cole Speaker, who had a fumble himself in that first half, but also a big touchdown grab. 2nd and 9 from midfield. Fajardo across the middle. It's Walter Fletcher. Gets one block, turns, and finally is able to dive across to the first down. Looks like they will mark it up around the 46 and a half.
You have a quote I use with the quarterbacks, Marshall. You're never going to go broke when you're putting money in the bank. So Toronto loves to do this. Rush 4 people, okay, then drop everybody else in zone, give you these underneath checkdowns, but you got to get north-south, get your yardage so you can come to, just need 9 yards, get yourself to a wedge situation.
3rd and half a yard. They were just shy of the first down marker, and now it is a first down. They'll keep Caleb Evans on the sideline. Fajardo takes care of it himself.
Very important here now. The ball at the 45-yard line. They're at a 52-yard field goal, which is a little long. But they got to make sure they keep possession. They move this, pass this, make sure they get at least 3 points. This is what I would be calling the kick zone. Let's make sure we're protected in this area of the field. We lose no yardage in case we want a long field goal.
10 straight completions for Cody Fajardo with a fresh set of downs from the Argonaut 45. Now Mason Pierce has jumped offside, free play, and it will be Tyson Philpott on that field side. The quick little rocket screen, and he rockets close to a first down again.
Offside against Toronto. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down for Montreal.
When you have screens on the outside and linemen coming out to pull, what you're trying to do is, as the pressure comes from Toronto and people play, there's too much space on the field, so you get the blocks, get a lineman out, follow the big man to north-south. Really good call in that area of the field. Quick, high possession throw, puts you in great field position now.
Walter Fletcher in the backfield with Fajardo. Pressure on. Cody looking to throw. Hit as he throws over the middle. Catch made. It's Royce Mechie bringing down Regis Sibasu. Not targeted very often, but he does have a touchdown that decided a game in Hamilton earlier this season.
When you have a tight end in the game, you got to account for him. As Mechie moves across the formation and adjusts, Cody has great recognition, throws it when the defense is most out of position. Makes a big hit on that. That's a great located throw. Put them right inside the red zone.
Sibasu now has as many catches on the season as he does special teams tackles. 4. Dual-headed monster. Fletcher and Stanback in the backfield. Fajardo keeps it, flips it to Fletcher. On the edge, Tyler Snead trying to get a block out in front. And Fletcher wrapped up inside the 5-yard line.
Little zone action. What they're trying to do is, if we get the opportunity, as we show the zone play, if we can get a quick throw across the field, we'll throw it right behind the line of scrimmage, block downfield, and get whatever yardage, because you should be getting man coverage here. Now you're at the 4-yard line here. Look for Toronto to do something where they're at handle crossing routes by passing things off. Possibly a lot of pressure here.
Stanback behind him. They pinch down the formation, hand it off to Stanback into a pile of double blue uniforms. Going nowhere is William Stanback looking for his 2nd touchdown of the season, with his first coming just last week.
You're going to see McManus just have an unaccounted for, which is very difficult. You'll see McManus right here as they're trying to do his own scene. They got to get another body over to the top of McManus. Once there's the twist, right, Lawrence turns his shoulders, should be working up to McManus, can't do that, gives McManus an open lane to go make the play. Great stop here. Once again, you know, not coming away with touchdowns has been hurting this football team.
David Cote pounds this one through. Alouettes reach double digits, but still trail by 13 points. As the Alouettes trying to find a way to...
Coach, in terms of looking at focus points, and he said one area of opportunity is to simply not overthink it, so that when the players are in that 20 zone, they don't overthink, and it allows for ease, simplicity in that way. And also, he just said, give yourselves 5 throw plays and 5 pass plays. It'll make it much simpler as you continue to get in within that 20 zone. But right now, again, the focus for the Alouettes, getting down and making the play possible.
Yeah, looking to try and final drive efforts, as you see the effort from A.J. Ouellette driving through the pile there on first down once again.
Yeah, they might have been listening to the panel. Coach Barker had a really good point. Hit it downhill with a tight zone play. This is what I would call wind it all the way back from the block of the fullback to go all the way behind if the defense over pursues and gets you to a second and medium here.
Open up the playbook on second down here for Chad Kelly. Fake the run, looks back over the middle. It's Curly Gittens Jr. makes the grab. Flag is down in the defensive backfield. And Curly Gittens Jr. is free through the middle of that Montreal defense for the moment.
Watching Chad Kelly go through his reads, looking downfield. He was looking to take a shot play originally. Then he had to find this deep crosser. Really impressive what he did to do that.
Contact on the receiver, Montreal number 33. The penalties decline. The result of the play, the first down for Toronto.
As they go to play this, he's looking downfield. Once the free safety takes the deep part of the route, he now has to take the underneath one. Okay, here's Rogers with the illegal contact. That's one of the double moves they're trying to do. He gets off it, recognizes the free safety was deep. Great execution.
Kelly first and 10, screens it back. Curly Gittens Jr. again, right down the hash. And another first down for the Argonauts, and Curly's starting to get a little wiggle going in his game.
Yeah, he's banged up a little bit on that. After big shot play, go ahead. Quick, high percentage throw. Expecting probably a blitz from Montreal. Montreal, after a big play, loves to blitz you here, especially in this area of the field. So that's a great safe call.
And Curly
easy first down.
Takes a knee.
Okay, so you're going to see Lyman coming out on this screen. A little bit of a hold, might have gotten away with.
Curly Gittens Jr. jogs to the sideline under his own power as we get a look at the end of the play that had him feeling it. David Unger has checked in for him in this spot, so we'll take a look at one of the best Canadian receivers in all the CFL as the Argos inside the score zone. Their 5th trip today. They've got touchdown, field goal, high percentage as they have been all season inside the 20. Something Montreal aspiring to. Kelly looks to his left, flips it to the outside. David Unger makes the first man miss. Sean Lemon right there alongside the rest of the Montreal defense to finish off the play.
Love this. Toronto did what you would call a Kodak. They did a double cadence. What that means, they call the cadence, stop, bring it back, so they can see the coverage, see what's going to happen. It looked like Noel Thorpe was, his defense is going to blitz, so then they can bring people in.
A.J. Ouellette runs right into the teeth of the Montreal defense on 2nd and 3. Rides his way backward, and there's Sean Lemon once again talking to Ouellette.
I just love that last throw. Chad recognizes zone, the widest part of the field on the outside's open, takes the easy throw underneath to Unger.
The offense looks like they're staying out in this spot. Don't forget, these two back at it against each other next week in what will be the finale of the season series. Right now, Toronto up 1-0. hanging in the balance over the next 2 weeks, including this second half. Kelly pumps, looks to use his legs, runs to the end zone, fire the cannons, touchdown Argos, and a flag at the end of the play for the hit on Kelly after he crossed the goal line.
This is why you want a mobile quarterback, especially inside the 4-yard line. They've got to run. This is what you would call an RPO or a run-pass option. There's also a route behind the line of scrimmage to possibly throw versus man coverage. But you also get the opportunity, if you have a quarterback who can use his legs, to go ahead and pull it. And if they cover the pass route and they cover the run, they don't have an option for the quarterback. It usually has to come from the free safety. And at the 4-yard line, that's not going to happen in time. Some great execution by Chad Kelly in this offense.
The Argonauts extend their lead, stretching the field horizontally, using the legs of the quarterback. It's Ben Major, our lead official here this afternoon.
The result of the play is a touchdown by Toronto. After the touchdown, there are 2 misconduct fouls, both 15-yarders. One against Montreal, one against Toronto, 52. Those offset. We're not going to do the converse.
And so they'll call it against Peter Nicastro. I'm not sure it wasn't Darius Sirocco that got involved there trying to stick up for his quarterback, but regardless, it does go against Reggie Stubblefield. And Nicastro signing an extension this week, as well as Chad Kelly, so locking up some of the future of the Argos offensive core. And then you end up seeing Kelly go to the end zone, and now they'll go for 2. The Argonauts this season, 2 of 3 in 2-point conversions, and driving towards the goal line, came up just shy, make it 2 of 4 as Montreal gets a stop. Leading 8th rushing touchdown for the Toronto Argonauts leading man. Seen this plenty in the first half of the CFL season. Argos lead 29-10.
Montreal, as they get closer to the line of scrimmage, you're going to see a bunch of people at the line of scrimmage. 4, 5, 6, 7. What happens when you do that? Man coverage on this receiver. As he goes, Dequoy handles him. The end of the line of scrimmage player doesn't handle him. He should not go to him. That's why there's a touchdown, because he should have handled the quarterback.
Chandler Worthy, another big kickoff return here, trying to help out his offense as much as he possibly can with field position. They'll spot it just on Montreal's side of the field. You get a look at Chad Kelly, getting a look at his work all the way into the end zone for Toronto, as it took them just 6 plays and 70 yards in a little over 3 minutes.
Yeah, the Austin Mack is going to be a very difficult thing to overcome, as he's the biggest explosive player they have, the biggest yak player they have.
A lot of work for Tyson Philpott right now as Fajardo looks for his own quarterback run, closing quickly outside in. That's a Darius Pickett adding to his stat sheet on the day. He just played both there, didn't he? Oh, he was outside, took it away, flew in.
As Cody recognizes the end and says, hey, I'm going to bend down the line of scrimmage and go play. I am not going to play contain. Gives Cody the opportunity to get around the defense, get him in 2nd and 7.
Alouettes converting at 37% on 2nd and 7 plus. The money down, 2nd and long here for the Alouettes. A little quick play action, flip it out underneath. It is complete. That's Jake Hardy, just his 2nd catch of the season. And the officials will signal 1st down Montreal. Good execution quickly out of the hand of Fajardo.
Yeah, like this is a zone team you're going to face from Toronto. You have to have positive yards on 1st down, then put yourself in a spot where you can get Hardy a touch in that voided area in the underneath coverage.
James Tuck, the fullback. Bottom of your screen. Motions down here for Fajardo. As Fajardo loads it up, wants to throw outside. Complete. Cole Speaker spins away from the first tackle, goes backwards. Toronto rallying defensively here in the 3rd quarter.
Once again, there's a voided area of the field. Cody didn't have a chance to get it, so he has to throw the underneath throw on the outside, and unfortunately doesn't get the yardage he wants on the outside. Toronto does what's called voided, Marshall. They void areas of the field, so they can bring 5 people. They're going to void an area of the field, but still play zone behind it.
Possible preview of the 2 teams and the location for the East Final based on how Toronto's season has gone. Montreal trying to fight back in on 2nd and long. This one tipped away and incomplete, very nearly an interception as Winton McManus celebrates with the former 1st overall pick, Jordan Williams.
Jordan's expanding his part of the zone. You got to put that ball a little bit farther outside, and you got to work for a little bit of width away from that underneath linebacker. Try to put this ball a little bit farther outside because you know somebody's going to be working to you.
College football Saturday. How about a little ECU on ECU love there? Jordan Williams and Tyler Snead.
East Carolina, the Pirates
battling against each other. Ends a streak of 15 straight completions for Cody Fajardo. Can't say much negative about his efforts here. Another sidewinding kick from Joseph Zima as he spikes this one out of bounds right at the 10-yard line. And the Montreal Alouettes wishing they could finish with 7. But they pinned the Grey Cup halftime show last November in Regina. These 2 teams scrapping away for their spot seeding in the Grey Cup playoffs here in 2023. Chad Kelly backed up in his own end, looks to throw outside, wide open. It's DeMonte Coxey, pushed out of bounds by Rogers and Stubblefield, but an easy one that time for Chad Kelly, and lots of breathing room now for the Argonauts offense.
Yeah, attached to a run pass option, you've got a tight zone, inside zone play, but what you call it routes attached. You have a route over there, and if the quarterback sees softness, go ahead and don't worry about the run play. Just throw the ball, get it out on time. Easy throw for a 1st down to Coxey. Get the ball out of backed up.
15th completion of the ball game for Kelly. 1st and 10, hands it off. Lots of running room for A.J. Ouellette. He told us this week, Coach, that he loves the idea of breaking through the line of scrimmage and then just finding a defensive back and making them question whether or not they want to tackle him.
Just your simple zone play as they go. A.J. winds it back as the defense overplays it. And that's the problem sometimes when you get younger players playing. Notre is on the outside where the defensive end is. You can't have 2 people outside. That opened that huge gap in the middle of the field.
Back to the running game. A.J. finds his hole. Puts his head down for a gain of a couple. But the offensive line on that right side today, Darius Sirocco, Peter Nicastro, Dejon Allen, being able to push the pile a little bit here. And it's not exactly the most exotic schemes in the world, running a lot of that basic stuff you said, but the eye candy is what they're mixing and matching with.
Yeah, you always want to make sure after the eye candy, sometimes it's going to be a throw to a slot. Sometimes you're going to flip it behind the line of scrimmage. There hasn't been as much from this team today. Maybe with the big lead, they just want to keep hammering it up inside.
Kelly looks to throw, completes. Deontay Evans right there in the coverages. Kelly ends up on his backside, but it's a 1st down. And something we haven't seen much of is Chad Kelly eyes down the defender that got a whack in on him is these 2 guys. 96, 2023, a lot of comparisons to be made in terms of the success between them.
As a kid from Nashua, New Hampshire growing up, I knew Doug Flutie. Everything about Doug Flutie is amazing. He had an amazing career up here. Both, at 9-1 in their record. Chad wins today, goes to 10-1. The only other person to do that for this team is Doug Flutie. Those were amazing days back in 96, 97 for this Argonaut football team.
Statistically, perhaps untouchable, a lot of the things that Flutie did, but the win-loss record in his 1st year as a starter, pretty special from Chad Kelly here with this offense crafted by Ryan Dinwiddie. Back to Ouellette they go. And
I think the difference, like Doug Flutie, I'm sure ran that team. And I remember John Jenkins worked on that staff, and I remember Don Matthews basically said, it's Doug's team. Everybody, he's going to call the plays. He's going to run what he wants. Here, they're doing a really good job with a young quarterback. Because Chad's younger than Doug had already had experiences. They're running the football. They're mixing up. They're playing good defense. And then when Chad takes his shots, he's been able to locate his shots. So they're not all putting it all on him. That's why the stats are a little bit different, but the wins are the same.
Big hit this time flowing back into the play. It's Mustafa Johnson, and there were too many men on the field with Armando Sewell, a late substitution, trying to get off the field. Noel Thorpe was asking for a timeout on the sideline, couldn't get the officials' attention, and Sewell was the one.
Montreal had 13 players on the field. It's a 10-yard penalty. It makes it a first
See
down
Armando
for
Sewell
Toronto.
right there at the bottom. And it doesn't really matter if you're close, if you're on the field, that penalty is going to be called.
Montreal Alouettes offense, 25 penalties against them coming in, fewest in the CFL.
There's the big board.
Yeah.
Big board behind Noel.
Plenty of defensive penalties, and add that one on the pile as the Owls trying to find a way back into this one. Quick flip to the outside this time. Bryce Notree hauls down Tommy Neal, second down. And that will be the end of the third quarter of play. As back and forth they go. Montreal, a good sustained drive, but couldn't finish. The story that they've struggled with over the last month of the CFL season. See if they can pull off a huge comeback to kick off Super Saturday when we return to the CFL on TSN. Of this one, the Alouettes are going to have to find a way to fight their way back in. Maybe a big special teams play from Chandler Worthy would certainly help, but it's tough when you're going up against a quarterback in Chad Kelly, who's been slinging it all over the place today and is using his legs to really punctuate drives.
Yeah, 17 of 24, over 200 yards. No touchdowns, but he's got a rushing touchdown. They're staying on the field. He's creating first downs, and that's what you need, especially you're going to want in this fourth quarter. They want to control the football, keep getting first downs. This is the best team in the CFL. Converting on second down, so they're going to stay on the field. Montreal, on the other hand, they got their 4 takeaways. They're going to have to find a way, whether it be tempo, to create more opportunities for plays. They have to go faster because they're going to run out of time with what this score is.
Kelly with the rushing touchdown, adding on in the third quarter. He'll begin with a run here. It goes to Andrew Harris, and driving the legs once again on second down. Harris will get it, and they can't take him to the turf. Harris still on his feet, all the way to the 30. A big statistical contribution from Harris this season. Takes advantage of his opportunities, but that's the emotional boost he's been giving them at really random moments throughout the season.
Let's just enjoy that clip and watch number 33. He's done it his whole career, plays with effort, keeps his legs going, and then everybody piles on, but he keeps his legs driving. Just love that guy. Enjoyed spending 4 years with him. AJ loving it. AJ loving it.
Let it roll, let it roll. Kelly this time looks to throw outside quickly. Completed. Unger brought down by Kavian Ento on that field side. They've been going back and forth as Unger gives that one a spin right into the feet of Ento. But a nice play to be able to get it out of Kelly's hands once again as they mix the run and pass here. Once again inside the 20-yard line.
And again, you got a zone coverage now to the wide side of the field. So in the Rolodex for the defense, play zone. What does Chad do? Sees the throw on the outside, makes the quick throw on the outside for another first down. This is what I mean. This team stays on the field.
10th play of the drive, pressure on. They'll run into it as Harris, again, refusing to go down at any point. I was chuckling at the end of the third quarter because Ouellette started to get into a bit of a rhythm, and I started looking at the sidelines. Andrew was about 5-6 yards out onto the field just waiting for the call. Well, it turns out it was the start of the fourth that he was waiting for. Now they'll swap back once again.
Yeah, just an excellent opportunity to have a veteran like him. He's as good at a back at protections as I've been around, catching the football. Just to have him as part of your leadership crew of this football team is awesome.
Huge part of the stretch run last year for Toronto, winning the Grey Cup. As they get back on pace here at the end of 2023, catching at the 8, knifing forward inside the 5. It's Tommy Neal looking for his first major of the season.
Yeah, once again, Tommy Neal, the offense did a Kodak again, which is a double cadence. Just they weren't sure whether it's going to be a pressure, but if you watch Tommy Neal, he comes up and runs a quick out route. Can't get to it because they're in tempo. And again, they're in tempo to go fast, play fast in the defense.
Ouellette into the end zone. Gets another in this ball game. 6th touchdown of the year for 34.
Sean Lemon nobody blocked Sean Lemon, but AJ just kind of runs him over. It surprised Sean almost that he was unblocked, and then he basically just threw him off. And again, when you have a low center of gravity like AJ Ouellette does.
High snap brought down by David Arnger. Knocks it through the uprights, and Toronto continues to roll. Up big against the Alouettes. 12 plays, 100 yards in 6 minutes and 51 seconds. The Argos looking to remain undefeated at home. Success.
Sometimes you just got to be powerful and strong lower body.
Having some fun with it, no doubt. Celebrations, plenty of them on the sideline as a couple of Alouette special teamers run into each other. Chandler Worthy's left on an island all by himself, and Tavares McFadden downfield to make the rare special teams tackle on his season.
The hard part now will be for Montreal in a definite, we need to throw the ball more than we normally would like to. You know, how this pass rush from Toronto can now tee off and really get upfield.
The free safety runs off the sideline, checks in with the other 11 in the Argonauts defensive formation as this defense holding it down today as they have throughout the season. Third best in the CFL in points against per game, but just 23. Well below that as Jake Hardy makes the catch here, knifes his way across the 35. First down for Montreal.
Jake sits in the nice zone right over the ball as some of the linebackers. You'll see him coming in on the left-hand side here. As two linebackers void that area, he just settles and takes that space.
Let's pick up as well from Walter Fletcher. Signed back in free agency this year with the Owls. Stand back in Antwi. Check it down this time to Fletcher outside. And gets wrapped up by McFadden, who just made the tackle on the kickoff.
Yeah, sometimes those swinging routes you'd like to maybe go to, there's a couple other guys that are downfield that you're going to catch it and actually be at 6 yards instead of having to try to run to get that yardage. These DBs are doing a really good job of reading coverage, or reading the underneath coverage.
The former NCAA Defensive Back of the Year. A willing tackler, only had 9 coming in. Been on and off the roster throughout the year with the emergence of Quantez Stiggers, but 2 tackles in the last couple of plays. Now Fajardo, pressure on, down he goes. Robbie Smith in to finish it off. That's the first sack of the ball game from either team, as Toronto has been one of the best throughout this season.
Okay, Robbie Smith right here. He's just going to win his one-on-one battle. There's not a lot of twisting going on. Okay, he just wins with speed on the outside and then breaks back in as the tackle overplays, steps back inside to make the play on Cody. You know, I talked to Corey Mace. Corey Mace talked about sacks. When he took the job, they were one of the worst teams in the Canadian Football League, the Argos, and he really has done a great job with this unit, making it has the most sacks in the Canadian Football League. So hats off to Corey Mace. That was a key component he wanted to do.
Booming boot that time from Joseph Zima. It goes for 56 yards in the air before it's brought back by Javon Lee. Montreal Alouettes have done a really good job protecting Cody Fajardo throughout this ball game, despite giving up a league worst 11% sack percentage on the year.
Right, every minute with Andrew, and just great for young people to understand. If you want to be a good pro, learn from this guy.
Up to Kelly here, hands it off to Harris's running mate, AJ Ouellette. Minimal gain up the middle. I do remember at the end of last season talking to Andrew Harris before Montreal actually played here, and he was saying, we've come a long way from where we started just as a mindset of the Argonauts at the start of the season. And he said, a lot of that has to deal with me basically just getting on guys and trying to say, this isn't how we do things properly.
Yeah, the conversation he had with me was there was a little bit more communication maybe at the time in Winnipeg, because there's such a veteran unit and they've been together. So we would, gladly ask the offensive tackles, how do you want to handle this? Or we would talk through scenarios and talk through how we wanted to handle things. Andrews tried to bring a little bit more of that to this team, and it certainly paid off for them.
Getting it out quickly here to the edge is Kelly. Goes to Tommy Neal. Crosses the 50 up to midfield. And it's It's the simple stuff working right now for the Argonauts. Get it on the edge and let Neal run with it.
Here's what you're going to see. When you bring pressure off the edge, you can't account for it in the run game. How do you account for it? With a route attached. This is an RPO. Once the Sam linebacker blitzes, you have to throw it. Now they get space. They get speed and space. Dequoy can't make the play. That's why you have these attached runs, because you cannot block the strong side linebacker when he comes with your lineman, so the quarterback has to handle it.
Kelly goes back to the ground game, banging it up in between the tackles again. You're an Argonauts offensive lineman. You got to be loving this right now. They mix in the third back of the day, Daniel Adebaboye, and O'Brien gets a touch.
Yeah, outstanding special teams player. Certainly, that's a lot of depth with that group with Andrew, him, and AJ Alouette.
Second round pick, 15th overall last spring. Contributed massively, as you say, Lapo, on special teams, and giving him a touch for his hard work on special teams here. They check Javon Leake, the return specialist, into the ball game. Kelly looks the other direction, completes it again underneath. Big collision that time. But it is Tommy Neal who's getting all the grass stains from here at BMO on that double blue uniform.
Yeah, Tommy Neal, really good job. Pressure from the outside, the right side of the field. Opens up that space for Tommy Neal and gets a nice catch and run. Sometimes when you want to pressure, you're going to void certain areas of the field, and that's kind of happening here for Montreal as they do these pressures. Toronto's finding the receivers in those voided areas.
If anybody had Tommy Neal in fantasy today, congratulations. Didn't see this one coming. 6 catches, 84 yards. This time they go on the ground. It's Harris spinning away and down to the 40-yard line. Just a gain of 4, but doing it in style.
I remember, go back to Andrew a little bit. My first ever meeting, we signed him, and I believe it's 17. He becomes, or 16 or 17, becomes our starting tailback, and he's late for our 5th all-time in rushing. Amazing. Past Charles Roberts this year, another great bomber. That's who he grew up watching. Well, the first day of practice, first my ever on the field with Andrew, he's late. He's not on the field. We miss him for half the practice. And I remember going, oh boy, what did we get ourselves into? We signed this guy and
character issues.
Yeah, so I was all worried, and then it didn't happen ever again.
Ouellette slashing his way down the left side. In behind the block of Darius Sirocco, the center getting out in front, creating a little bit of push, and it'll move the sticks again for Toronto. Can't stop this running game right now.
Yeah, this is what you call an outside zone play. You're going to see everybody reaching to the front side, and then they're going to pull somebody around. They pull the center, Sirocco, around, because you're trying to separate the defense to create a crease. And AJ Ouellette, his ability to put his left foot in the ground and get north-south quickly is outstanding for the outside zone play, and that's their bread and butter for this team. Tight zone and outside zone has been their bread and butter all season long.
Ouellette, 12-plus carries in 3 straight games, make it 4. Now he's got his 18th carry of the ball game, lunging his way forward for a minimal gain.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a team that just played Monday night or Monday afternoon. Really doing a job staying on the field. But what I do like is the depth of this football team. As you just said, 3 different tailbacks have carried the ball. So they've got enough depth on this unit to be able to filter guys in and protect people's legs and make sure they're fresh.
Hamilton finding a way last night in Ottawa. Also coming off even shorter rest. Toronto doing it here Monday to Saturday. Playing at a high level with 36 points on the board and looking for more. Kelly, pressure on, flag up as well, but down goes Chad Kelly. Jamal Davis right there alongside Armando Sewell.
Yeah, we'll see what this penalty is, whether it's something at the quarterback.
Illegal block, hands to the face on the defense. Montreal, number 90. It's a 10-yard penalty. Makes it a first down.
So another player safety. Okay, on the right side of the screen here, you should be able to see the blow to the face. You're basically not allowed to put your hands into another player's face mask, whether we can see that or not, and then you cannot push their neck back. That's a player safety thing, and those calls are just to protect the players, especially the offensive linemen.
Called it on 90 Sewell. If it was on 9 Davis that we saw there, Isaiah Gage maybe selling that one a little bit. Getting pushed back. Ouellette scrimmage. Lunges forward to the 15-yard line. As Stubblefield and Duquois finally bring him down.
And here comes Andrew, trading off.
It was great to see AJ this week tell us that sometimes it's not even about the physicality of what happened in the run. He said, we think the game's the same.
Yeah.
He knows when I need to come off.
This is what's nice. AJ makes his cutback, and he knows there's a linebacker right there because the linebacker's waiting, and he does a great job of just getting north-south off it to get himself over 100 yards right now.
First time he's done that this season, as Harris, nowhere to run this time, turned around. If you're Montreal's defensive front right now, you've just got to be so tired of seeing 33, 33, 34, 34, 34, 33.
Yep, and then on, whenever you get a second and long, you think, oh, we're going to be able to get him off the field, and then Chad scrambles around or sees the pictures and gets the ball into the right spot.
As the kicking unit comes out, Forrest Beatty ready to extend the lead. Chad Kelly.
Forrest Beatty, the MVP of the day. He's been a busy guy. Mickey Donovan's done a really good job with that special teams unit. They've won the field position battle in 10 games. Every game this season, they've won the field position battle.
This one comes from 23 yards away. Hold is down. Got close to it, but knocked through. One miss on the day for Beatty, but he has made plenty of kicks as the Argonauts look set to win the season series against Montreal.
Is that a horn he's drinking from?
Strevy in attendance, though, out there today. Signing some autographs, the Grey Cup legend, is Caleb Evans in the ball game here for the Montreal Alouettes. Looks like Fajardo's day is done. Quick hitter underneath, and Tyler Sneed gets a first down on first down for the Alouettes. They would have dearly loved to have had that throughout this ball game as Caleb Evans comes in. Had some success with him earlier this season. And of course, you had him in Ottawa as well.
Yeah, and he had a big win last season in Ottawa against Toronto. Was the player of the week in the Canadian Football League. Nice, easy first throw to Sneed.
Looks to throw again. Dances in the pocket, outside, scramble rules on, flips it to the sideline, gets it complete to Chandler Worthy. As Fajardo all done on the day, and standing around during that last 7-minute Toronto Argonauts drive to salt away a 10th victory on the season. It was last two drives for Toronto, 22 plays, 169 yards, and nearly a full quarter worth of football, resulting in a touchdown and a field goal. That is how you finish a game out. Caleb Evans likely been warming up for a while on that sideline, knowing he was going in. As this one handed off, Walter Fletcher adds to his numbers and does a great job to pick up a first down.
And Cody's numbers, it's good completion percentage numbers, only one touchdown. And, certainly the turnovers are what hurt this team today. You can't have four turnovers and a half and expect to be able to move the ball and be able to stay on the field and get scoring opportunities.
Evans screens it backside. Fletcher, a couple of linemen out in front, cutting it back. Makes another man miss, goes airborne inside the 20. And that'll look nice on the stat sheet at the end of the day as Fletcher mixing the run and pass here.
Yeah, they have a really good kick-out block. You have two things on a screen pass. Actually, you have a kick player, okay? You have an alley player, and then you have a rat kill, right? You have a good kick. What you want to do is head right up the numbers after that. The alley player handles what's in the alley, and the rat kills for whatever's behind, chasing the screen down. I got to say rat kill on the air. I'm fired up.
Evans bounces around in the pocket, pressure on, flips it out as he gets hit. It's complete to Chesrin Antwi, and Antwi down just outside the 10-yard line. It'll be second down. Philippe Gagnon also in at right guard. We were told this week by Jason Moss, listen, Christian Matt, we don't give him any breaks. We don't give him those veteran days. Well, apparently he does get subbed out at the end of the game because Gagnon's in at that right guard spot and leading on the screen that we saw a play ago.
And this is the strength of Caleb, his off-schedule ability to make plays when things break down. He uses his legs to climb out of the pocket and find a throw or escape and throw the ball downfield.
See if he can harness some of the magic he had in Ottawa. Comeback victory there, low snap. Added degree of difficulty for Evans. Pressure on from behind, down he goes. That's Brandon Barlow. Up up and down on the roster this season he's been, depending on what they want against a team that's run heavy or pass heavy. Barlow on the roster makes the play here late in the fourth.
Just when this snap happens and you're this late, picking the ball up and trying to go through your reads, the protection's just going to have to break down. He would have been better off just taking off and getting out of there, because the O-line can't hold up that long, especially against this great front.
Benoit Marion celebrating alongside Robbie Smith in the backfield with Barlow. Now on third down, Montreal goes, desperation time, baseball back at the end zone, up for grabs, intercepted. Jamal Peters, third of the season for number 3.
To the wide side of the field, ball up in the air a long time. Peters, big, long. That's what I love about this defensive backs. They got length. He can run underneath it and high point this football. Excellent. You want to catch that ball at the highest point. Both players are trying to get to the highest point. Peters won the battle. It's a little bit underthrown, and you don't want to underthrow when you have a really big field corner or a cornerback who's going to be in a position where he can take that ball away. Great high pointing by him.
10th career interception. As you see, I got one of those. That's a Flutie Bills champion jersey. And makes it even more similar between Kelly, as he'll kneel it out with Mr. Doug Flutie, heading to 10-1 on the season, just like Flutie did 96-97 with the Argos. Final thoughts here, Coach. The Argos stay undefeated at home and send a message, winning the season series against the number 2 seed right now, the Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah, they're pushing themselves in a position where they're going to have first place locked up and be in a position where, one, they can get this crowd back into the stadium for their home playoff game, and they're going to be in a position to be in the driver's seats to get that important bye for first place. If you get the bye, it's so much easier to put yourself in a position to go